Hey YouTube, good morning. Well, it's November 11th. Happy Veterans Day for veterans out there. If you're watching this on Veterans Day, thank you for your service. Today is kind of the beginning of the winter prep for me. And what that means is it's time to take all the supers off, whether they have honey in them or not, and then check each hive for size and shrink them down appropriately. So if it needs to go down to a nuke, if it's a single because there's extra space, or if it's a double that can go down to a single, or perhaps just making sure the honey is all up in the top and they're not crowding out the laying space for the brood down below. But the primary focus is to make sure that the brood nest that exists is down in the bottom as we go into winter, because it's also time to throw on a little extra feed if they need it. So I'm making up some syrup that's a little bit lighter than 2 to 1. And I'll be putting that in each of the hives that needs it. Probably every single hive will get some. And the important thing to recognize is that's why you got to take the supers off, is if you don't want any sugar honey in your supers, you need to take the supers off now before you put any of this feed, if you have anything below the queen excluder. In any case, that's what we're going to do today. I'll probably have some cuts and clips in here and come along with me. Oh, one last thing. As part of an integrated pest management program, this is the time of year you need to double check your mite loads going into fall. So if I find the queen in each hive, and I really will try to, so it might be quite a long day, I need to do a mite check on every single hive going into winter so I know where they are. Because I'm really pretty much going to leave them alone until just after the maple flow. The maple pollen starts just after the first of the year. So believe it or not, here we are in zone 9B, and we only got 6 weeks of winter until the maple's here. And then once the maple starts, really the bees start building up for that early swarm season. In any case, that's what we're going to do. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you enjoy it. All right, YouTube. So I just got open the first hive, and I didn't get very far. The hive looks pretty good. There was a lot of honey over here to the right, even on this drone comb frame, which is great. That's exactly what I want them to do with that drone frame and the honey. Got the queen caged over here, and then I did a mite check. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but the mites are not looking good. The strips on here were actually worn out again, so that's another lesson to me. And I'm just counting here, trying to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this is 20, 25 plus. So not good. Cleaning out the mites. And in this situation, I am going to put some strips back in there, but this is where I have to use the oxalic acid just to knock them back. So after I finish going through this hive and double checking everything, I'm going to give them a little treatment of oxalic acid vapor, and then I'm going to put a feeder on top of it because it's got a full 10 frames here. They do not need to be reduced down. It looks pretty good. So just a little bit, it's got plenty of food, but I'm going to put a feeder on top and then give it some oxalic acid. All right, YouTube. So I've been doing a few rounds of oxalic acid vapor on the hives that have mites. First hive had 25, the second hive had 9. This hive had 1, so this one was in good shape. This was a double deep. I shrunk it down to a single. There was just too much honey, only about 4 frames of brood. So 4 frames of brood down here. I put some honey on the edges, and I've got a feeder on top to keep them fed with that 2 to 1 that I've made up. So moving on to the next one, I figured I'd just give you a little bit of what's going on here. So basically, I'm pulling off these supers. Like this one has nothing in it. A couple of the other ones I found like 1 or 2 frames. See, nope, nothing in it. 1 or 2 frames of honey that's more than 75% capped. And then I'm going to go ahead and extract those out. I'm just not getting a whole bunch. So this is probably just going to be an inspection, a mite check on this one. Initial look looks pretty good. Taking the queen excluders off, because I'm not putting any supers back on. Here's how my brood minders fit in there. Initial check on the edge. Partially drawn out frame, not a whole lot there. Starting to draw this out, not a whole lot here. Putting nectar on this one, so that's good. Nectar, honey, this looks good. Looking for the queen. And an old strip. When these strips start to look like this, that's when I replace them. Take them out. Just by the age of that strip, I'm guessing I might have mites in here just because it looks like I didn't replace it soon enough. We'll see how we do once I find the queen. Ooh, that one felt lots of honey. Nice food stores in here. No brood yet, it's all honey. There's some brood, dead center of the frame. Looking for the queen. Nice solid pattern there. Some hatched out. Got eggs in there too, so she's laying. There's a queen in here. There she is. Ooh, unmarked. I'm gonna show you there. See her? Unmarked queen. So I'm gonna go ahead and cage her, mark her. Didn't expect to see that. Wonder when they replaced her. Got her in there. I'm just going to double check that that's not a replacement and that there's not another queen in here. I'm going to keep looking. Do the mite check on this frame though. Half a cup of bees. I am going to guess I'm going to have mites in here just by the age of the strips. Brood pattern was solid though, so I think it's probably going to be a medium number. Probably in the number between, I don't know, 9 and 12, which isn't great, but it's just not like that first hive with 25 in it. I'm going to go dump the bees out. All right, I'm looking with you. Here it comes. Let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. That's not horrible. I'm happy with that. So, double checking my sieve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 or 8. Something like that. Okay, 8 mites, that's good. So at the end of the year, going into winter, 8 mites. If I'm gonna do some treatments, you know, that's totally in a normal threshold of being able to tolerate. I'll probably just put some strips in. But I got the vaporizer out, so it doesn't hurt to hit all these guys with vaporizer today. Okay, so that's that hive. I'm gonna go ahead and, well actually, while I've got you here, I'm going to go ahead and mark that queen, show you how I do it in the field. I've shown you guys this before, but you never know who on the channel's new here. I can't do it with gloves on. Might pinch her. Got to get the ink flowing. It's flowing. Now, this is a good looking self-replacement queen. Now I got to get her out of here. She could fly. So I'm going to slowly let her out. Oh, almost came out. All right, she's out. So, don't pinch her abdomen. You gotta get her legs. So you gotta use the hard parts of her body to twist her around and grab her legs. All right, I've got her right there. A little dot of red. And then back into the cage, very carefully. Let that dry off while I finish up. That's how I mark them in the field. Hopefully you enjoy that. I'll be back when I got something new. All right, so I've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my 6th hive. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of bees out here. I've got them all shrunk down to single so far, just based on the number of brood frames there were. Let's see what we got in this one. A little bit of capped. Nothing else in there. A little bit of capped. Empty on this side. Capped. Empty. Yeah, so I'm just going to feed this back to the bees. This should be completely empty down here. Yeah, this is just empty. What I found in most of the double deeps is they were starting to put brood up in the top and a couple in the bottom. Most of the brood ended up being in the top. So I'm having to kind of be careful to look for the queen as soon as I get in my first frame or two, because she's been up here a couple of times already. Honey, some cells, old queen cups. Honey and open brood space for laying. A little bit of brood up here. Cutting off these old strips. She could be up here. Don't see her at first glance. I see how open that comb is for laying. That's exactly what you want. They can either store food in it, or she could be laying. See how this brood up in this top box again. There she is. This is my POL2 queen. I can tell because I've double marked her, meaning I've got yellow and red. She's usually going to be my breeder queen for at least one more year, perhaps. So this brood needs to be moved into the bottom. But now that I got the queen, I can be a little bit rougher and do a mite check. Whew. This one may need to stay a double. We'll just have to see how much brood there is in the bottom. I am gonna guess very low mite count. My doubles have had very low mite counts after putting those strips in addition to a couple of the pads. You know, the cellulose pads, Swedish sponges as they're called also, only go in between double deeps. And on these double deeps, I threw in a pad, I don't know, about a month, 6-8 weeks ago. And since then, seems like it's just exposed the oxalic acid to the hives, and they've been doing pretty good. We'll have to decide if I'm taking this one down to a single or not based on how much brood is in the bottom. I've already found 4 frames of brood in the top. All right, let me go get rid of the bees. All right, so 0 mites. It's the first 0 I've gotten. The other ones have all been like 1 or 2. That's the first 0 I've gotten, so that's great. Double check with the sieve. Yep, 0 mites. Wow, impressive. Okay, let me see. There may just be too many bees to take this down to a single. Wow. All brood. So unless the bottom is all honey, I'm gonna have to leave this one as a double. Pollen, nectar, good food frame on the top. All right, let me check the bottom. There's that sponge I was telling you about. This is the reason I don't like them, is because you really can't lift the frames with them on it. You got to kind of destroy it a little bit, but it's just the way it is. Honey. Food. 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 That strip doesn't look too bad, actually. It's got to be old, though. Yep, okay, so all the brood was in the top, it looks like, because I haven't found any brood down here yet. So I'm going to just put the brood down here, rotate them. Feed these food frames back to the bees, put a feeder on it. Yeah. This is a nice food and open cell, so I'm gonna leave that in here. And then back for the brood. Two sides of brood, a little bit of food. A little bit of food and pollen. Five frames of brood. And I can put in a few of these food frames back. All right, that's 10 frames. Put her back together. All right, here goes the queen. There she goes. Put some food on top of that a little later. Well, 0 mites. Now I got to get these frames out of the way before any more robbing starts. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll be right back. Okay, I got through all the hives. I was able to get all of them down to singles, taking off some capped honey and some open cell nectar and putting it out in the front yard so the bees can lick that up. Basically, I took all of the brood, stuck it in the center, and put any sort of food and pollen frames on the outside. Most of these are all at about 4 to 6 frames of brood. A couple of them were 2 to 3. And I can just kind of show you over here, these two were a little bit smaller, and you can see here I'm doing an OA vapor at the moment. I have not fed all of them though, but let me show you, this is how I go about doing it, because now that I've got my screen tops on here, this is my 2-to-1 syrup, and I'm just basically feeding it to the bees. Can give them about a half a gallon to a gallon at a time, depending on how much syrup you have made up or how much, how light the bees were. You don't need to overdo it if you're going to constantly check it. But this time of year, now that you've taken their honey and the resources and shrunk them down to one box, you got to make sure you keep food on them. All right, so that's how we do winter reductions. Mite checks. I checked every single mite. 3 hives were at 0. The rest of them were between 5 and 12 with 1 extremely high. Anything above 6, I did OA vapor. That's how we do it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave some comments below. Have a great day.